Hey, welcome to Slay the Spire. Today we're not playing a daily, we're playing in a regular Ascension 20 Watcher run. Now, I am currently still on vacation, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to record and upload daily, so I will definitely try to play them, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'll have internet to be able to record. I should be back on, I believe, Monday, July 12th will be my next daily. But until then, I figured I'll upload a few other runs, and I wanted to upload a Ascension 20 Watcher run, and then, this is funny, I sat down, I wanted to do a voiceover, I started recording, and then I tried it 3 times, and all of those 3 times I died on Act 1 before even reaching the Act 1 boss. I was playing a little reckless, got a little unlucky, so I'm like, okay, well, once you reach that, once you don't reach the Act 1 boss, you don't get any of the first opening hand bonuses. So I was like, okay, I don't want to play a game without any of the regular bonuses, so I'll just play without recording. I'll play Act 1 really quickly, I'll get to the first boss, and then I'll die, and then I'll start again recording. I did that 3 times, and all of those 3 times, whenever I sat down to record, I had a horrible run. Whenever I didn't record and I just wanted to get to the Act 1 boss, it actually went really well. So then I'm like, okay, well, clearly this is not working. So I figured I'll just record a run without any audio, and then if that run is successful, I'll just record audio on top of it. So this is the first time I tried that, and of course it went really well. So yeah, I'm gonna narrate. Of course, this is me narrating after the fact, so I'm not 100% sure what I did, although this was not that long ago. So in the first fight, I picked a cut through fade. I also have to apologize. There'll be a few cuts in the video from the video file because during the same time I was also listening to podcasts and doing other stuff, so I wasn't really, I wasn't 100% focused, but the run was definitely worth it. It went over really well. Okay, so after first fight, I got the cut through fade. Then after next fight, I got the sash whip. And of course, the reason these first few fights are very easy is because I have that modifier at the beginning that allows me to have the first fights with the enemies being at 1 HP. Now, obviously, there was no path for me to be able to snipe any enemies. I also was able to upgrade the eruption. But the main reason I did that is, I originally wanted to just get to the Act 1 boss and then just call it a day, not even continue. But as you'll see, this run starts to become very interesting very quickly. Okay, so I also picked up a Sands of Time. I figured that might be a good card just to deal a lot of damage, just something to have in case I need to. In the shop, I also got a Bowling Bash, and I removed the Strike. In Ascension 20, it's very important to remove as many useless cards as possible because card draw becomes extra important. Now, here I'm fighting against the Sentries. Now, this is a tough decision, right? Because if you don't enter Wrath and then kill, and this is actually exactly the reason I took the Bowling Bash, you will end up having a bad time long turn. So I was able to kill the middle Sentry, and then I was able to exit Wrath as well. But that means that it will take me much longer to kill the other Sentries, and in Ascension 20, each Sentry puts 3 days into your deck. So the second time you shuffle, or the first time I guess you reshuffle your deck, you're going to have a lot of days in the deck, and it's going to be very difficult. But luckily, this is also where the Sands of Time comes in. So right now it's at 3 energy, so I could, together with an attack card, kill one of the Sentries, but I didn't draw any attack cards. So here I'm trying to defend again, taking another 7 damage. Okay. And then here, yeah, I can kill with Sands of Time. I can also do Eruption, right? So if I enter Wrath, I should be able to kill the backliner with the Sands of Time. And then with the extra energy, I guess not all of the backliner, but most of it. And with the extra energy, I can also play the Cut Through Fade, get another attack card, and Bowling Bash did it here. Actually, I guess next turn I can do Sands of Time too, right? Because there's no rush. Okay. Alright, I got Molten Egg very early on, so that means that every attack I get offered will be upgraded. I also picked an Empty Body just to have another way to exit Wrath. Otherwise, I would have... So currently I only have 1 Eruption and 1 Vigilance, right? So I would need some more ways to exit Wrath. So this turn I am fully defending. I will try to preserve some HP, although Act 1 is generally easy for the Watcher, although, yeah, as I said before, I failed a few times on Act 1 already. So I failed, one of the main reasons I failed in the last few fights is because I'm playing very riskily. I always go for the Super Elite on Act 1, and, I sort of think that if you die on Act 1, it's fine, you can start again, right? But obviously, with the Watcher, I think dying on Act 1 is not super easy. Here I'm actually going to drink the Distilled Chaos because I ended up in Wrath, and I just did not account for the fact that I might not be able to exit it. So rather than lose a bunch of HP, I just drank the potion. Also, it's always very nice to have 1 potion slot empty just in case you get another potion. That way you're not really wasting anything. Alright, the Sands of Time upgrade is actually really good in case I get the Lagavulin fight, and generally, it does become cheaper. And then here I'm offered Toxic Egg, which is also huge, so that means all my attacks and skills, thanks to the Molten Egg and Toxic Egg, will be upgraded. And then, yeah, as I hoped for, I got the Lagavulin. I did drink the Strength Potion because this fight can get ugly, especially because I was sort of hoping to draw the Sands of Time already, and I hadn't yet. So that might be a little difficult, but I did exhaust the Curse. That's good. And here, so this is the problem, right? Next turn I'll have the Sands of Time, but I might have difficulty playing it, and it's only going to deal 52 damage even when I'm in Wrath. I guess with the Strength it will be 56, right? So I did enter Eruption, played one strike, and then exited Wrath again just to be in Calm, so that I'm only taking 20 incoming. So here I defended, and I'm sort of waiting for the Sands of Time to get a little cheaper. And then here I'll do Cut Through Fate. Sash Whip is great, so that'll save me 5 HP and deal a little bit of damage, and then I still will defend. And now as soon as I draw the Eruption, which I think is guaranteed, yep, guaranteed to be this turn, I can do Eruption, Sands of Time, which will be 56 damage, and that's enough to kill along with the other attack cards. Got an Ancient Tea set, which gives me extra energy after a rest site. And then here I took Worship, and so Worship can be really good. There are a few synergies that make Worship really great, but I figured Worship might help in sort of longer fights. When I'm reshuffling the deck, I'm getting back to the Worship, and then I'm entering the Divinity stance, and then that together with Sands of Time would deal a lot of damage. It was definitely sort of a lucky pick, lucky in the sense of that didn't currently have any synergies for that, but it's one of those cards that it can end up being really useful. Alright, in this fight I calculated and I realized I was able to kill even while weakened. I got an attack potion, and yeah, Consecrate is a very nice basic 0-cost card. So here I usually would go for max HP. Now in a daily I would of course go for the Curse and Relic, but in Ascension 20, any extra card you have, especially if that extra card deals damage to you, like the Regret, is just a huge disadvantage. So as much as possible, it is something that should be avoided. Okay. Here I got the Mantra Plate, so if I cycle back through that Worship, I'll be able to enter the Divinity stance, but I'm pretty sure I should be able to kill here. I'm calculating whether I can kill this turn. So Bowling Bash with Eruption, double damage is enough to kill one, and then yeah, Eruption and Crush Joints are enough to kill the other as well. Or just a regular strike too. Okay. Alright, so Tantrum is sort of a must pick. I mean, ideally I would have more ways to exit Wrath, but it is just such a powerful card, so I should take it. This one is another tough fight, so I picked an attack potion here, and I got a free Sands of... Oh, never mind, I took the Bowling Bash. I thought I took the Sands of Time. Yeah, Bowling Bash does 20 on damage, Sands of Time does only 20, especially because it wasn't upgraded, and it doesn't become cheaper, right, if I played it right now. So with the Bowling Bash, I have a higher chance of drawing it in the next shuffle. Okay. And then, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So I could kill with the Sands of Time if I use the Miracle and enter Wrath with Eruption. Am I going to do that? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Now, it is risky though, right? Because next turn I'll be in Wrath. That means if I don't, well, yeah, if I don't have a way to exit Wrath, I will take a lot of damage. And yeah, that's what happened. So I'm only defending by 10. I am taking 10 damage, but at least that means that I am able to kill this guy fairly quickly. Otherwise, it might have been another delayed fight. Got Matryoshka, the next 2 non-boss chests you open contain 2 relics, as well as Vault. Vault is a great card, mostly because you can enter Wrath, and then you can use the Vault to basically have an extra turn of Wrath where you don't have to worry about enemies incoming. Yeah, it generally is a nice card, so it's useful to have. Also, a rare card before the Act 1 boss almost always is a must pick, because at that point, usually the deck is not developed enough for you to use it. Alright, so here I'm entering Calm and using the Vault. Not the ideal use case for Vault, but good enough. And then here I played the Worship, so as soon as I can play it once again, I should be able to enter Divinity. Okay. So yeah, I also applied Vulnerability with the Crush Joints, just so I increased the chance of being able to transform this guy. And luckily here I can transform, but I kind of want to avoid entering Wrath, because it is not guaranteed that I can exit it. So I'm not going to play the Eruption or Tantrum, just the regular attacks, and that was enough to transform. Okay, so here I will take some damage. I will play Sash Whip first, just so I'm applying weakness, and then I'll play a defense. So yeah, I'm taking damage, and it's a little close there, because I'm down to 7 HP. But here I can fully defend. I can do Empty Body Vigilance, that gives me extra energy and full defense, and I can even get another attack in. Okay. So I have 20 incoming, but with Worship I can enter the Divinity stance. Now that will give me a lot of extra energy, and then the Sands of Time will be triple the regular damage. So instead of 26, it's going to be 78, which is huge. So that guarantees a transformation. But I'm also going to try to play some other cards. So Cut Through Fate, I will try to play as many attacks as possible. The Crush Joints is useful. I'm going to play that with the defense. So now the 78 becomes 117. Okay, and then actually I was thinking like, wait, I can kill here. Yep, So that was this is one of the reasons why Worship is such a great card. And then here I saw Omniscience. That's also a must-take, mostly because, and in my previous incorrect attempts, I had an Omniscience, but I didn't really have anything that was worthy of Omnisciencing. So this time, though, I have a Worship, so if I can get the Omniscience before the Worship, I can double play it and immediately enter the Divinity stance, which, by the way, gives me 3 extra energy, meaning the 3 energy I spent to play the Omniscience will be offset by the 3 energy I get. So really, it's a great thing if it can happen. Now, I wasn't really offered any great relics. I had the Velvet Choker, which I think in Ascension 20 runs is impossible to take because mostly, well, I shouldn't say impossible, very difficult, because mostly you want to kill things by playing a lot of cards, and that limits the amount of cards you play. Also with the Omniscience, you know, that already accounts for 3 cards, right? 1 Omniscience and then 2 double playing the other card. So that one was out of the question. Ectoplasm was also very difficult because not being able to gain any gold is a problem. So I went with the Sozu, which means I won't be able to get any more relics, but I think that's fine. I should also say that you just saw another way I was able to kill very quickly by just double playing, entering Wrath and then double playing the Sands of Time with the Omniscience. And then this shop, I removed another strike. I wasn't a huge fan of any of the cards, and unfortunately I wasn't able to afford the Dead Branch Relic. That would have been nice. I did decide to take a Foresight just to have some scry abilities in case, you know, a lot of the bosses, especially Elite and Boss in Act 4, give you a lot of statuses, right? So if you have ways to get rid of those statuses, and Foresight is a great way to do that. Here I'm getting the Ginger Relic, which allows me to never be weakened. I should also mention that I picked up the Ritual Dagger, which increases its attack damage whenever I play it, whenever I use it to kill an enemy. So that's going to come in handy later. I'm not going to use it for quite a while, but it will become useful later. Yeah, I also took Orichalcum, which gives me 6 block if I don't have any block. Now, in retrospect, I probably should have taken the Key here. Mostly because the Orichalcum, I mean, it only gives you 6 block, and usually I'm able to come up with block myself, but yeah, I didn't do that. So here I realized that in the first turn I can't kill any of the minions, and I was considering drinking that liquid bronze potion to help me a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately this means that the backliner is guaranteed to attack if there are still 2 enemies and if he didn't attack previously. So yeah, I am going to take a lot of damage here, unfortunately. Not much I can do. I got rid of the Worship mostly because I was hoping to pick up some better defensive cards, but yeah, this is something where, you know, I just had to live with the damage. Okay, so I played the only defensive card I had, and then, yeah, mostly I just focus on offense. Obviously, I can't enter Eruption here. I would take too much damage. Okay, yep, down to 14 HP. Now that I'm guaranteed to not be attacked by the backliner, it does make sense to take Tantrum, and then Bowling Bash will also help. And actually, I was thinking maybe I have enough damage to just focus on the backliner and not even worried about the minions, because Bowling Bash is a good amount of damage, especially in Wrath, and especially since the backliner is vulnerable. And then Cut Through Fate will also help, and then hopefully with Cut Through Fate I'll be able to draw another attack card. But then I realized Sands of Time is enough already. Okay. That went really well. I also got Duality. Whenever you play an attack, you get 1 temporary dexterity, which is useful, and then I took another Cut Through Fate. Okay, moving on here, and yeah, I'm cutting here because I think the video quality is decreasing because I think I'm doing other stuff in the background, which is really affecting both recording and gameplay. But yeah, this is another example of me just entering Wrath and then Omniscience the Sands of Time for a total of 104 damage, I believe. Okay. And then here I started really thinking about which cards I should take. So the key about Ascension 20 is you don't want to fill up your deck with a lot of junk, because the more cards you have, the less likely it is to draw each card, right? So you do want to ideally keep your deck thin. Now, all of these could work here. Inner Peace can have a place, especially if I have maybe another way to enter Calm. This basically translates into 4 card draw. Prostrate is also useful because I have Worship. Now, the problem with Prostrate is that Worship alone is not enough to enter the Divinity sense. I guess Worship plus Prostrate is also not enough. So I needed at least one other way to gain Mantra, and I didn't have that. So in the end, I just decided to skip. Okay, and next I rested because I was a little worried about fighting the next elite without enough HP. I also got a Regal Pillow, which helped, and then Golden Eye is great, right? Whenever you scry, you scry 2 additional cards. Because I have the power that allows me to scry, and I have a few Cut Through Fates. So it will be really nice to have extra scry. That should help too. This fight went really well. Basically, I was able to weaken and fully defend in the first turn. And I also played the Ritual Dagger just because it would have been very difficult to get it played here in the right time. And then here I drew a fully defensive hand, and I was able to get an Eruption out. And remember, every time I play an attack, I get extra dexterity thanks to the Duality Relic. So even the second turn I was able to fully defend, and then the third turn I got the vault. So that means I can play a few attacks, cut through fate, and that allows me to plan my next turn. So next turn, ideally I would Omniscience the worship, but that's not going to happen because I'm going to have the worship before the Omniscience. But I still think I can Omniscience something, right? So I decided not to discard anything just so I don't draw too many things. I played the power again there, and then I decided to, again, not discard anything, so I draw the Ascender's Bane. And then with Vault, I was really hoping, yeah, and here you can see I can exactly determine what I'm going to draw. I did get rid of a bunch of stuff. Oh, I decided to get rid of the Omniscience. I thought I would have played that. Yeah, so here I can do Crush Joints Tantrum. That would give me energy back, and then the enemy will be vulnerable, and then Sands of Time with the double damage from the Wrath should be enough to kill. Actually, I'm pretty sure, wait, just Tantrum and Sands of Time alone might have been enough, but yeah, this worked as well. Okay. Got Blood Vial, at heal 2 HP at the start of each combat, and then I figured another Cut Through Fate would be appropriate because I have that Golden Eye Relic. Alright, and then here I was debating between a question mark and a rest site, but then decided to go for the question mark, which ended up being just a regular fight. Okay, so yeah, at this point I think it was pretty well established how it's going to go. I was going to, or at least I did start trying to figure out a way to use the Ritual Dagger, because at this point I don't think I had upgraded a single time. I was trying to figure out if there's a way I can enter Wrath. So here I got lucky with the confusion that the Sands of Time became 0 cost. I actually had an option of drawing it previously. Yeah, actually this is the first time I'm being able to use the Ritual Dagger and upgrade it. It was the, yeah, I realized I could have drawn the Sands of Time while not being confused, which would have made it 4 cost, or I could have just waited and have it drawn and then got lucky that it was cheap. So here again, I wanted to use Ritual Dagger, but I wasn't able to kill the frontliner. So I figured I also have the Vault, right? So I can kill the backliner with the Ritual Dagger together with Consecrate. And then I can do Vault and really hope that I can either kill or exit Wrath. And yeah, so luckily with the Cut Through Fates and the abilities to determine the next 5 cards, or one of the next 5 cards I draw, I can do something like Omniscience Sands of Time again. Okay. Alright, here I was seriously considering the Weave because I have so much Scry synergies, but the Weave is problematic against both the Time Eater and the Heart, because it basically is a 0 cost card that deals a little bit of damage, but you know, both against the Time Eater and the Heart, playing multiple cards is punished. So I wanted to avoid that. I think the deck at this point was pretty decent, and all I need to do is get the Ritual Dagger upgraded. Okay, so here with the Cut Through Fate, I'm deciding to keep the Eruption and Bowling Bash. So I can do Eruption, and I can get the Bowling Bash with another Cut Through Fate, or I can play Vault. Here, actually, it might make sense to also play the Crush Joints, right? No, I decided to do Vault instead, alright. And then Bowling Bash will kill anyone, but it'll probably have to be the backliner, right? Unfortunately, I was hoping for a slightly more offensive hand here, but at least I can exit Wrath with the Vigilance, and I can even get some extra defense with the Evaluate, or Empty Body, one of those two. Yeah, Evaluate is probably better. That way I'm still in calm. Okay. Yeah, in Ascension 20, the Taskmaster is giving you 3 wounds with every attack, which makes it really difficult. Basically, the goal is to try to kill them before you first reshuffle. Otherwise, you're going to have so many wounds that it's going to be impossible to really handle. Alright, here I am able to draw the Omniscience, and I'm keeping some attacks because I might need them. Although, wait, is there anything to Omniscience? Yeah, I can Omniscience the Sands of Time, right? I think that should kill, especially since I'm in Wrath. Just to be safe, in case the Sands of Time does the wrong attack. Oh, actually, yeah, it worked as intended. I can just kill with the Carve Reality here. Okay. Alright, so here we got probably another Cut Through Fate, and then Bottle Lightning allows me to put a skill in my opening hand, and that has to be the Omniscience, right? So that way I can now double play anything on turn 1, and that could either be a power, or once I get the Ritual Dagger upgraded, it could be Ritual Dagger. And ideally, it would actually be the Worship, but in this particular case, I drew the Worship in the same turn that I drew the Omniscience in my first turn, so that's not really something good to upgrade, or to double play. Well, actually, it's impossible to double play. But let's see, so I'll do Cut Through Fate, and I was considering keeping the Vault. But yeah, I decided it doesn't really matter, because here I'll double play the Vigilance, that way I don't take any damage, and just wait. Okay, another 24. So here I can enter Wrath with Tantrum, gain energy back, and then really hope I get something to allow me to exit Wrath, and Empty Body is one of those. I was also considering keeping the Sash Whip. Yeah, that might be better, because that way I can weaken him, and then still draw the Empty Body with the next Cut Through Fate. Yeah, so I have to get rid of the Card of Reality so I can draw the empty body. And then before playing it, I can also get an attack or the foresight out. I think the attack makes more sense. Yep. Okay, and then empty body. So this way, I'm actually still taking some damage. I guess I can do the foresight too. Yeah, let's better be safe than sorry. Because at this point, I don't need that much damage left. Yeah, I can do the Sands of Time. So I can enter Wrath here. And even though... actually, no, wait. I can do, yeah, Eruption, Consecrate. And then next turn, I can kill with the Sands of Time. I wonder if I could have killed with Sands of Time this turn already. Because I had Sands of Time and the Consecrate. But yeah, this also works. I mean, I know next turn I'll have enough energy to play Sands of Time. And I'll be in Wrath. So that should be fairly doable. Oh, actually, this is very smart play for me. I'm glad I realized it. I'm trying to get the Ritual Dagger. Because I know I have the Sands of Time at any point. And yeah, I got it. That was the last card I draw, so I was able to upgrade it there. So Talk to the End is an amazing pickup, especially when it's pre-upgraded. And then here, I was a little worried about the upcoming boss fight, so I decided to rest. In retrospect, yeah, I mean... It would have been difficult to get by without resting, but I wanted to be safe. The run was going so well, I didn't want to ruin it because of some small mistake or an unlucky draw. So here I was trying to debate what to Omniscience, and at this point, I think it makes most sense to Omniscience the Talk to the End, because that way, every time I attack the backliner, I would gain 6 extra block, which would help quite a bit. Yeah, so I think that was the right decision, and then... Yeah, then I decided to do Vault to try to see what else I can do. So here, because I already played the Omniscience, I can't double play Worship, so I have to play it conventionally once. I'm also considering to do Ritual Dagger just because it's going to be hard to use, but no, I guess I kept it for later. Who knows? Maybe it'll come just at the right turn. Not impossible. Alright, so here I did a misplay. I played the defense first, but I did want to play the Crush Join, so I wanted to make one of them vulnerable, especially because I knew I could kill them. But if I played the defense at the end, I could have used the extra dexterity I got to get a little bit more block. But this way, I'm also killing one of the minions, which saves me 7 HP, so it works out in the end. Okay. I am going to take some damage here. There's no way to avoid that. Alright, now the backliner is actually summoning, which means that if I can avoid killing the minion, then I would not have to deal with a new minion, because, you know, of course when they summon, they won't replace the minion that's already there. And because the backliner has 6 block return, I just need to basically attack him 3 times, even though I'll be in Wrath, right? So yeah, I ended up with 24 block here, actually more, because I can do Sands of Time. And the reason I played Sands of Time there is because I noticed that I was going to reshuffle, so it might make sense to deal the damage, reshuffle it, and have a chance to draw the Sands of Time again. So Tantrum alone, I mean, it's 4 damage times 6 block return, so that's 24 blocks just by me attacking the backliner, right? So as long as the backliner wasn't attacking me, I think it's worth it, especially since the minions are only attacking me for 28. I definitely want to keep the Consecrate here. That will help with the minions. And then I can play that, and then Cut Through Fate would allow me to draw. And I can play the Worship, but I probably would want to keep it for next turn. So that means that this turn I'll draw the Cut Through Fate by not discarding anything. I will discard anything that's not an offensive card, because the turn after I'll be able to get the Worship. And then because Worship retains, yeah, that's good. So I'm getting rid of everything that's not an offensive card. And then I still have an Insight, right? So next turn I can enter Divinity Stance and then draw quite a few cards. I think that should be enough, especially since I already have 1 Smite in my deck. So here I'm getting rid of the Empty Body. The Sands of Time is going to be useful, so yeah, I'll just do Worship, enter the Divinity Stance, and then 78 damage with the Sands of Time. Okay. So yeah, it's hard to say, but I think the Omniscience is helping me a lot, and then seeing a second Omniscience there was perfect. So now I have a guaranteed Omniscience on my opening hand, and I get a second Omniscience, which means I can do something like double play a Worship and then double play a Sands of Time for a total of... what is that? 26 times 3, 78 times 2, so 156 damage. That's not bad. All right, I picked Tiny House just because I already had an energy relic, and I didn't think I needed another one. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of extra max HP. All right, so here at this point, I was feeling, especially with 2 Omnisciences, I was feeling very good about this. So I figured, yeah, why not? Let's... Oh, actually, well, I was originally thinking of maximizing elites, but then I thought, okay, I still need to grab 2 keys, right? So I do want to find a path that has a good amount of rest sites. So this path in the middle has a good amount of question marks in the beginning, and then a few rest sites. Doesn't maximize elites, but does still grab 2. And the most important thing is there are options, right? I could have done other things. I could have... In the middle, it's generally nice. You can sort of change your path. Okay, so for this fight, I think what I was going to do, I was going to play the Eruption. I was trying to figure out a way to use Ritual Dagger here. So if I do Eruption and these Sands of Time, I think that would kill, right? So instead, I'm trying to think Ritual Dagger with twice damage deals 60 damage twice. So I can just do something irrelevant. So I didn't even need to play the Omniscience. I can do Worship, I guess, just to be safe. And then Ritual Dagger with Worship at this point is 90 damage, and that'll be played twice. So at this point, Ritual Dagger is starting to become a really good card. Again, here I reject the things, trying to keep the deck fairly thin. And then here, between Foresight and Consecrate, I don't want to remove any of them, so a simple defense can go. And then here again, I will try to figure out a way to use the Ritual Dagger. And this admittedly will depend a little bit on luck, because I can't enter Divinity, because I drew the Worship first. So if I enter Eruption, well, actually here, I first got some block. And now, if I enter Eruption twice and then the Ritual Dagger, it would kill if both hits of the Ritual Dagger target one of the enemies. If it distributes the damage, then it won't kill, sadly. So, double play the Omniscience, then get the... I was trying to debate if Eruption is better than the Tantrum, and ultimately, Tantrum is better, right? Because it's 12 damage. Okay. And then I did the Ritual Dagger there. So, let's see. One hit the frontliner, and yeah, both hits hit the frontliner, which means I was able to upgrade the Ritual Dagger. I did take a bunch of damage though, because of course I was in Wrath, but then I'm pretty sure I can kill here, right? Yeah, Carve Reality, Sands of Time, and then Smite. Okay. Alright, I also got Winged Boots. You may ignore the path you take the next 3 times. So that means, because now I have 2 Omnisciences, I thought maybe I'll actually turn around and maximize elites. So I was thinking about the path here quite a bit, and yeah, basically I'm going to jump 2 times to hit 4 elites, and also get in the middle. The path in the middle gives me 2 rest sites, right? That'll allow me to get a key and also upgrade another card. So yeah, I decided to do that. Now here I was seriously considering just traveling to the final boss, because I thought I was ready, but I figured I'm in such a good position and I have the Winged Boots, why not use it, right? So maybe I could have just jumped immediately to the boss, but I think this was safer. And spoiler alert, it did make my deck stronger, which I think was good in the end. I do see sometimes, like when your deck is already ready to kill the heart, then it obviously doesn't make sense to wait, but I think I still had some time to go before I was ready for the heart. Alright, so this is a classic example of playing Worship twice and then playing the Ritual Dagger twice. I do wonder if that upgrades a Ritual Dagger twice, I'm not sure. And then unfortunately none of the hits hit the Spiker, which means now I have to manually deal with the Spiker. I had to do Empty Body just so I can do an attack without taking damage. Yeah, it's unfortunate because it would have been triple damage if I was still in Divinity. So here I can do Evaluate, and I was trying to figure out ways to deal more damage, but then I thought I should just wait for the Sands of Time, right? So yeah, I'm trying to discard as many cards as possible here. Well, actually, I want to keep the defensive card just so I don't have to deal with incoming damage, because even if I play the Sands of Time, I will still take some incoming damage, right? Okay, so here I dealt a little bit of damage, making him vulnerable so that I can kill with the Sands of Time even if I'm not in Wrath. And there it is. I figured with the Miracle, I can get a little bit of defense with Evaluate before actually dealing damage. That way I don't take any more damage. Alright, here I was considering Third Eye, yeah, because it does scry and I have that Golden Eye relic, right? So scrying is not a bad idea. So yeah, here I jump over once. Actually... yeah, I was trying to figure out the best path here. I think it makes sense to jump over once and jump back. That way I'll get 2 rest sites, and then after the second I can jump over again for an extra elite. So I think that's a pretty good path. Again, here I was trying to figure out a way to use Ritual Dagger. I think it is impossible to guarantee a kill, although it is very likely. So I did Crush Joints first to make sure the enemy is vulnerable, and then double play the Omniscience, then do Worship. Although here I think I was deciding maybe there's a way I can do like Consecrate or Building Bash or something, but I think in the end it's still just going to be a Worship Ritual Dagger combination. Although I guess with Worship Ritual Dagger, yeah, if it hits the main, the Reptomancer, that will be enough to kill. I just have to get lucky, and I did get lucky. Good. Okay, now Bag of Preparation. At the start of each combat, draw 2 additional cards, which is great. Here I also was trying to think something to help me against the Heart, and I was thinking the Devotion might be useful. Basically a way to enter Divinity much more frequently would be what I need. So this is jump number 2, another elite. And then here again, I only need to deal 200 damage. I could do Eruption just to deal extra damage, but I think I'll just do, again, double Omniscience, double Worship, right? Yep. And then the Ritual Dagger will deal 120 times 2, so 240, so that should be enough. Awesome. Alright, got Whetstone. Actually, let me first see what cards I get. There's another Omniscience, which is perfect, and then Whetstone upgrades Cut Through Fate and Strike. And then here I'm going to go straight on that path to get an extra rest side, and actually in that rest side I will also get the Sapphire key. Or sorry, Ruby key. Sapphire is blue, Ruby is red. So unfortunately here I have to get the Sapphire key, right? Pantograph would have been actually really nice. At the start of boss combat, heal 25 HP. So if you remember, the last time I was offered the Sapphire key was for the Orichalcum, and yeah, that's what I meant. In retrospect, the Pantograph would have been so much better than the Orichalcum. I'm not even sure if I triggered the Orichalcum. I'm sure I have at one point or another, but it was definitely not as necessary as I could. So here, because the Time Eater, not the Time Eater, the Giant Head has the slow debuff, I do want to play a few more cards before I do that Omniscience, and then the Divinity and Ritual Dagger combination, although I still don't think that that would be enough. Although I guess I have 3 Omnisciences here, right? Okay, so yeah, I think I'll try everything. So do Worship first, and then I think Sands of Time, and then the Ritual Dagger. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. I don't remember if the Ritual Dagger was enough to kill here. Yeah, 156, 163, and then Ritual Dagger with 266. That was a lot of damage. And I got the Ritual Dagger upgraded. I also got Incense Burner, which is a strong relic. Every 6 turns become intangible. Now, if I remember correctly, that ended up not really helping me, mostly because I wasn't paying enough attention to set it up correctly. But I mean, it's nice to have once every while you get a turn where you're intangible. So here again, I felt very good about this, so I jumped over for another lead. And again, apologies for the video stutter. That was just, you know, lots of things going on in the background. But yeah, here I already drew 1 of the Omnisciences, which means I can't do 3 Omnisciences. I only have to do 2. But still, just going to do Worship and Ritual Dagger and hope that it hits the Reptomancer to kill. Again, I was trying to figure out a way. Maybe there's a way to deal with the minions, but yeah, so here 1 of the hits was the minion, which means that, yeah, at least I'm in Divinity stance, right? So that helps, and then I can Omniscience the Sands of Time to kill. Okay. Got a Sing Bowl. When adding cards into your deck, you may raise your max HP by 2 instead, which is perfect because I do generally start to avoid taking cards at this point. I think my deck is pretty well established. Okay, moving on. So here I have the Ritual Dagger, right? So I don't want to kill everybody just yet. So I double play the Omniscience, and I will also play Worship, but I don't think I'll do 2 attacks. I think I'll just do 1 attack. Actually, Consecrate, yeah, we'll also do some nice AoE damage. And then what else did I do? I think I did something very, you know, not super important, like, yeah, just the power there. Yeah, Foresight, just, you know, just to make sure that I don't accidentally kill, and then I can kill with the Ritual Dagger, especially with triple damage. Alright, here I got more max HP. And then here, again, Spiker might be annoying, but I will... Oh, and again, I drew 2 Omniscience in the first turn, which is still fine. I have Bowling Bash, which deals a lot of damage. I think if I Omniscience the Worship again, that should help. Okay, so I can do Vigilant just in case once I play an attack and it hits the Spiker, I don't lose too much HP. And then, yeah, double play the Worship and then Ritual Dagger. That should play twice. And it hit, sadly, yeah, didn't hit the Spiker, which is a little annoying. But I still have the Bowling Bash and Wheel Kick, which also does a lot of damage. And then I should be able to kill with Carve Reality and the Consecrate. So very easy fight here. Meditate is a pretty good idea because that will allow me to put cards back into my hand. So even if I play the Worship, I can grab it back immediately. So here again, I was trying to figure out how much damage I can do with the Ritual Dagger. So first, I will double play or triple play the Omnisciences at this point. I also play the Worship, that's given, but then I have to be careful because I don't want to accidentally kill. And I think I calculated that if I do something like Sands of Time, it would be it wouldn't be enough to kill. Yeah, so I did Sands of Time, and then I did something, so I was afraid that Wheel Kick would kill, right? So I wanted to play something that won't kill. So something like Consecrate, just a little bit of extra damage. And then I know that Ritual Dagger is 165, so that will definitely kill, right? And then here, I think I got for max HP, went for max HP again as well. Alright, so yeah, might as well upgrade the powers at this point. So Devotion and Foresight are the only ones left to be upgraded. The Devotion upgrade will come in handy later too. So Time Meter would have been difficult, but I did draw a pretty good opening hand, and I had 6 energy. So I was trying to figure out what to do here. So I can definitely double play one of the Omnisciences. So I can enter Divinity and then play the Ritual Dagger. The Ritual Dagger at that point will be 180 times 2, so 360. That won't be enough to kill though, right? But then I have another Omniscience and that can get me the Sands of Time. I think that would be enough to kill. So I should be able to kill in the first turn. So let's see, scrolling down to Ritual Dagger. Yep, so that should be 180. Another 180, okay. And then I can do another Omniscience for the Sands of Time, which is, I said 78, right? 78 times 2 is 156. Okay. Yep, first turn kill, 10 cards played, Time Eater gone. That one was probably a difficult fight. Against the time or the Awakened one, I obviously have some powers I would like to play, but they're not necessary. And here, unfortunately, if I do the same thing of entering Divinity and then the Ritual Dagger, I might have trouble, like if it doesn't hit the backliner. The minions actually sort of mess it up here. But, I mean, let's see what happens. Okay, so I am dealing 180 damage to both minions, which is overkill. I am intangible this turn, so that's nice. And then I wasn't 100% sure what to Omniscience. Now, in an ideal world, I would Omniscience maybe something like the Devotion, just gain extra mantra. But I can't really do that. So instead I did the Talk to the Hand, so that should help me fully defend this first phase. But then of course in the second phase, once I am getting attacked, or once the Awakened one removes all of the debuffs, then I'll be in trouble. Alright, 22 incoming. I basically just have to hit him 4 times. I'll do Cut Through Fate. Another Cut Through Fate is nice. Sash Whip is nice. Alright, and then I can do Sash Whip for weakness, and then Evaluate will give me enough to be fully defended. Or I'll just do Meditate to get... Oh, I guess the Worship, once I double play with the Omniscience, gets exhausted, so I can't get it back. But I can get a Tantrum back. That should also give me energy. Now, I also have an Empty Body, which would allow me to exit Wrath once I enter it. And the Tantrum gives me 24 block, right? So I was seriously considering here, 16 times 4 is only 64. And there's a good enough chance that I might be able to defend against 64. Here, I'm also removing the Devotion because I don't even want to draw powers. Okay. Alright, so I can do Carve Reality, Cut Through Fate. Eruption would also work. Okay. But then I also want to make sure that I have the ability to use the Empty Body, so I need to make sure I keep 1 energy. And yeah, I have 48, so if I didn't exit Wrath, I would have attacked instead and would have gotten only 10 incoming. But yeah, it's probably safer not to lose any HP. Yeah. Alright, here I have the Vault. That'll also make the Sands of Time cheaper. Before playing that, though, I could either do Building Bash Strike, or I can just do Vigilance to make sure I am in calm and, you know, can gain energy once I exit it. Alright, again, Tantrum. So if I enter Wrath, I'll get 44 incoming, and I think that's basically, what, 8 attacks? And Tantrum does 4 of those, right? So yeah, I think I'll be able to fully defend even if I'm in Wrath. So, oh, and I have Sash Whip, meaning it drops down to 33. So already I am fully defended. Okay. I'll do Evaluate for another Insight there. Okay. 77 block at the end, that's pretty good. Alright, Wheel Kick, and then Meditate allows me to exit Wrath, right? Actually, yeah, I was trying to think if I can kill here, but I think I was a little too far away from that. So I can do Tantrum, and then that gives me a lot of block, and then I can exit Wrath with the Meditate. And then I think the Meditate I should probably grab... Oh, right, Tantrum doesn't go into my discard pile, right? It goes into my draw pile. So I can't really grab that, but I can do something very standard. I was actually not 100% sure what I should grab here, but Wheel Kick and Evaluate are nice. I am very close to killing here, so I didn't worry too much about this. Okay, so I can do Wheel Kick. And then Carve Reality might be nice just to get a Smite next turn, and then Evaluate. Yeah, I decided not to actually kill here, mostly because ideally the Incense Murder would get to a slightly higher number. But this turn I definitely want to kill, because then I can also play the Devotion, which seems like a good idea to do. Alright, I played the Sands of Time because I'm going to reshuffle it, and then Devotion, okay. And then, yeah, I might have considered playing the Cut Through Fate first, because that would have allowed me to discard sort of junk cards from next hand. But I still have 2 Insights, right? So I think those should help. Alright, so Crush joins to make the enemy vulnerable. Now, unfortunately, there's no block return anymore, right? So yeah, I was hoping to find a way to exit Wrath, and that's the Vigilance. Yeah, and I was trying to figure out if there's something better to play, but no, I think I'll exit Wrath. I only have 14 block. I can enter Wrath again and then try to draw another card to allow me to exit Wrath. And yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get anything good there, but I still have the Insight, right? So I'm going to draw that, hope for the best. And of course, I have the potion still, which would allow me... Yeah, I got lucky with the meditate at the end there. But yeah, the potion would have allowed me to gain extra energy in case I need more card draw. And I still had another cut through fate, right? So here I'm drawing the Eruption and Vigilant just so I can enter and exit Wrath again. But yeah, this was the one turn where I actually took some significant amount of damage. All right, so here I'll do Eruption. Sands of Time would be great with 0. Yep, that's 78 damage. Cut through fate allows me to get a wheel kick. Okay. It's a lot of energy, and then I still have to play the Vigilance, right? Which would mean I will take some damage. So instead, I think I did Smite, and then Vigilance and Evaluate. Yeah, that way I'm just saving myself HP. Alright, 12 times 3. Here I finally got a Void, which is a little annoying. So I don't have that much energy. But if I play a few cards to get the Duality going, I can actually do... Yeah, especially since Evaluates are upgraded. So Evaluate twice is 24 blocks. So here I'm taking another 12. 12 damage, that is. Okay. And then this turn I am in Divinity, thanks to the Devotion card. So I should be able to kill here with Sands of Time, Smite, and Sash Whip. Okay, so overall, harder than the Time Eater fight, but definitely doable and relatively easy, I would say. Now, unfortunately, my Incense Burn is at a very bad value. Well, not very bad, but it could have been better. Okay, the next upgrade, I'm going to upgrade the Foresight. The rest is basically just basic rare or common cards. So the Foresight upgrade is nice, scrying 4 plus 2 from the Golden Eye. And then this shop, I wasn't sure. I had a lot of gold. I wasn't a big fan of any of the cards. Protect looked promising. Pendant would also nice, but it would actually take quite a bit of time to trigger. I think instead I first removed, I think, a basic strike. Yep, because I have so many better attack cards. And I also picked the Lease Waffle up and pick up raise from HP by 7 and heal all of your HP. And then I also picked the Nunchaku. I also took Swivel just to make sure that I can play my higher cost cards. And then Nunchaku is every 10 attacks gain extra energy. Okay. So here I'm intangible, and yeah, it does help me a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal, mostly because I should be able to kill everything here by doing Omniscience, the Worship, and then the Ritual Dagger. Yeah, having a Ritual Dagger is at 65, and then triple damage is, what is that, 65, 130, 195. It's basically because both at the same time, which is a pretty big deal. Okay. Yeah, otherwise this fight might have been very difficult. And yeah, I also at the end got Bottle Tornado. Here I got, first of all, a second Vault, and then Bottle Tornado put a power card in your opening hand. I went with the Devotion first, but then I figured if I don't put Devotion in my opening hand, it's a more likely scenario that I'll be able to draw it with the Omniscience. So here I got unlucky that I got the Ritual Dagger in my opening hand as well. But this is the thing, the heart you can at most deal only 200 damage to the heart, right? So even if I entered Divinity and played the Ritual Dagger twice, that's just a bunch of overkill. So instead I tripled Omniscience, and then I only need to enter, I don't really need to double play the Ritual Dagger because it would have already dealt so much damage. So I got Worship, and then I figured I'll double play the Devotion as well. And then maybe because I have so much energy, I was considering maybe double playing the Wheel Kick. Oh man, I was slow. I must have been thinking really hard about this. Okay, so did Wheel Kick first and then Devotion. Okay, so now every turn I am gaining 6 mantra, which means basically every 2 turns, twice every 3 turns I'll enter Divinity, which is a huge deal. Oh no, I said that wrong. It's about every 2 turns, right? So here I noticed that the heart, I can only deal another 73 damage to the heart. So it didn't make sense to waste 210 damage from the Ritual Dagger this turn. So I figured I'll actually save it for later. Yeah, so I did Foresight because that will help get rid of all the debuffs or the status cards the heart puts in your deck. And then I exited Wrath or exited Divinity and entered Calm. Okay, yeah, this is why I wanted to have the foresight, because now I can remove the wound. I can also plan ahead. I definitely want to do Vault next turn. So here I have 45 incoming, but ideally I would also make him weakened. So I did Crush Joints, and then Cut Through Fate is not a bad idea. Control a little bit of what shows up next hand. There's another Vault that I can draw and get rid of the statuses and curses. And I'll have to draw the Carve Reality, which is fine, because I can do Vault and then play Vault next turn as well. Basically, I'm hoping to figure out a way to weaken this guy. I also did a Carve Reality. All right, there's Vault. Okay, here, get rid of the Void for sure. Probably don't need the defensive cards as much. Cut Through Fate is probably fine. Yeah, I sort of got rid of everything, hoping to get something much better. And yeah, I'm in Divinity here, thanks to the Devotion. So sadly, I don't have a lot of good attacks cards, but obviously Sands of Time for 170 damage is great. And yeah, the Heart, I already reached the maximum limit how much damage I can do to the Heart. And then I did Vault again. Okay. And then here again, getting rid of the status cards. Okay. And there is Sash Whip too, which helps me quite a bit. So I first need to play an attack. That probably should be, or I can just defend with the third eye, right, to make sure that I don't take too much damage from the Heart. Also get rid of status cards too. Okay. All right, so Consecrate, Sash Whip. That brings down the incoming to only 30 rather than 45, which is a big difference. And then I was debating if I should draw more cards or if I should try to be fully defended. And then I did use Cut Through Fate to draw. And then I have another Cut Through Fate, but most importantly, I saw an empty body there for defense. Yep. Okay, so here I'm taking a bunch of damage, but that was sort of unavoidable. So next I have to worry about defense, right? Because the enemy is attacking for quite a bit, although luckily he is still weakened. So I tried to figure out some defensive options, and then of course I entered Divinity again. So Ritual Dagger at this point, again, is worth it now. Yep. And then I think I have to just focus on defense. So I'm going to do Swivel, Vigilance, and it doesn't really make sense to play another attack card because I'm actually not dealing any damage. I guess I could have maybe played a Strike. That would have given me one extra block. Yeah, sort of wasted the 0 cost attack damage there. I'm down to 18, and again, you can see that Incense Burner is active now when the enemy is not attacking, so that was just poor planning on my end. But if I can deal enough damage now, I still have the Sands of Time, and I'll be able to enter Divinity next turn again, right? Because right now I'm at... Oh, actually, never mind. I'm in Divinity now, right? So the next turn I can't enter Divinity, so I should try to deal as much damage as possible and then try to kill next turn. So as such, I'm trying to remove all non-offensive cards out of my deck right now, out of my draw pile. So Crush Jones I'm going to keep, Cut Through Fate, oh, never mind, Crush Jones is gone too. Cut Through Fate I'm going to keep though, draw it again. Okay. Actually, yeah, I think my strategy was to use the Sands of Time next turn, because I know that's guaranteed damage. And yeah, basically Carve Reality, and I think I should also end up with the Eruption. And then that way I can do the Sands of Time next turn. That would guarantee a kill. Yeah, I mean, this is just, again, it's so frustrating to have this be the run that I meant to originally, just quickly get through the Act 1 boss and just call it a day, and then... yeah, it went really well. It's also somewhat rare to go for an Omniscience deck in Ascension 20. I mean, obviously in this case it worked mostly because I already have a Worship, so that gave me something to actually Omniscience. But previously I had a bunch of runs where I had an Omniscience. I just didn't really have anything to Omniscience. I mean, it doesn't make sense to Omniscience an Eruption or something like that, right? So yeah, this just went really well. Now, I'll include the seed in the comments in case, or not in the comments, in the description, in case you want to replay this with the seed and see if you would make the same decisions. But yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything you would have done differently. But otherwise, I think this was a pretty good run. My score was obviously not amazing because it could have been higher since I wasn't really planning on perfecting things. But yeah, even with that, I still perfected quite a bit and got 3,400 points, which is pretty good. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.